I need to change the learning target on the board. Shh. So go ahead and close your computer. We might not get to that McGraw-Hill, so we'll do it tomorrow. So go ahead and close your computer. You can finish your bell ringer tonight or whenever in another class in PE. If you have to do some math in PE, just let me know. Like if you want to work on it, let me know so I can email Coach Vines and she will let you one time catch up on some work in PE. Okay? You can't do that every day because you don't want to dress out. Understand? One time. One time. So if you're falling behind, also I'm going to put grades in. If you are missing assignments, when Miss Brown starts back with the let me pause this for a second. When Miss Brown, so the learning target is I can identify parts of expressions using mathematical terms. That's very important. So we don't want to say that thingy or whatever. Okay, so this one, it's a long word that means a short thing. Coefficient. You will use that term in every math course from now on, including college. You need to know what a coefficient is. So a coefficient is simply the number before the variable. So for example, if I have 3x, that's not times, that's an x. That's not a multiplication symbol, that is an x. So oh child, I can't answer this call right now. So 3 is the coefficient. And when you see this, this means 3 times x. So we don't have to write this. And of course, we're not going to write this because that looks like 3xx, right? So that's why we're not going to use the x symbol for multiplication anymore. We're just going to, so if I see this number 3 in front of an x, a variable, that means 3 times that variable. But the number 3 is the coefficient. I'll give you another example. Let's say I have 5g. 5 is the coefficient. I'm just going to put co-e. And it means, write this on your notes, 5 times g. I need to redo this and use another variable other than x because I'm trying to get you away from x for multiplication. So that's just another example over here. So if I want to do multiplication, I just put the number in front of the variable, and that means I'm multiplying that variable by that number. Okay? Now, if I just gave you a z, what is the coefficient? Look at it. How many z's do you have? 1. So your coefficient is 1. So if there is no number in front of a variable, the coefficient is 1. Okay? It's just a 1. Let me move that out of the way. So your coefficient is 1. If I gave you a g, what's my coefficient? 1. So don't say the coefficient is 0, because if the coefficient is 0, you wouldn't have anything there. 0 times anything is 0. Okay, we learned yesterday that any letter that represents a number is called what? Not yesterday, day before. Any letter that represents a number, what do we call that? A variable. Multiplication, division, plus, minus, what do we call those? Starts with an O. Operations. I didn't go over this part enough. I don't know if we had that on. A constant. A constant is simply a number without a variable. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a constant. If you put a variable behind it, it becomes a coefficient. Clear as mud? Okay, so a number by itself is a what? Constant. If I put a variable behind it, that number becomes a coefficient, right? So think about join together. When you cooperate, you're working together. Okay, now here's another one we didn't learn. A term. A term is separated by plus or minus. That's a term. And remember, it's only separated by plus or minus. So let's look at the parts. Am I going too fast? Okay. Okay. Somebody said yes. So if one says yes, I got to stop the whole train because we don't move the train out of the station until everybody's on board. I had a student that said, I'm the Acoff, you're moving the train out the station and I'm not on. Okay, baby, let me slow down. That's my D to an A student. She went from D's to A's by taking notes. All right, y'all ready? We ready to move the train? Okay, let's move the train. So let's look at this expression and watch the way that I read it. 3 times x plus 4 times y plus 10. Now, sometimes I'm going to slip up and say 3x plus 4y plus 10. But what it means is 3 times x plus 4 times y plus 10. So my terms are separated by plus and minus. So my terms are 3x. My next term is 4y. And then another term is 10. I didn't mean to put plus. I meant to put a comma. So separate them by commas. Now my coefficients are my numbers in front of variables. Which numbers are in front of variables? Look at it. Tell me which numbers are in front of variables. Plus X. No, numbers. 3 and 4. So I just want the number. I don't want notice when I write the coefficient, I don't write the variable with it. I only want the number that's in front of the variable. Y'all close your phone. I know y'all chatting. Close your computers. Y'all chatting. All right. Now, what are the variables in this expression? Yes, just answer out. X and Y. Now, are there any constants in this expression? Any numbers by themselves? Okay, answer out. 10. Give me a good question. A question that somebody else might have. You don't have it because you got it. Yes, Cooper?
What makes a term a term?
Very good. What makes a term or a term? It's separated by a plus or a minus. Not division or multiplication, only plus or minus when you're looking for terms. Yes, sir.
When you were saying out loud the equation, why did you say 3 times x?
Because, okay, very good question. Another good question. He said when I set out the equation, why did I say 3 times x and 4 times y? Because a coefficient in front of a variable means multiplication. Okay? So from now on, when you see that in your spirit, because we're going to evaluate expressions in the next lesson, so you need to know that that's multiplication. And I'm going to emphasize it again when we get to it. Yes, ma'am. You said, why do constants what? Okay, they don't. A constant is simply a number by itself. So the only constant, y'all asking some very good questions. These are good questions. She asked, why do constants turn into coefficients? They don't. When you put a number in front of a variable, it is no longer a constant because the variable means it can change. So if I put 4 times y, if I say y is equal to 2, it's going to be 8. If I say y is equal to 4, it's going to be 16. So you don't always have that 4 there. You'll have multiples of 4. It's not a constant anymore. The variable makes it changeable. But when it's by itself, 10 is just 10. That's it. All right, very good questions. Let's look at this next one, kind of a trick here. What are my terms? Separated by the plus sign. Okay. Coefficients. 6 is a constant. None? But I have A is a variable. What's the number in front of A? How many A's do you see?
1.
So your coefficient is 1. Remember, when there's no number in front of that variable, that's good. That was good. The coefficient is 1. See, you won't ever forget that now. And, huh? You said pretty much, because like with the 3x, that's 3 x's. Yeah. Okay. Variable. Y'all kept trying to say it was a coefficient. What's the variable here? A. What about my constant? 6. So you know 6 can't be a coefficient because it's by itself. Now you try it. I'm give you 30 seconds. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, give me the terms. Answer out. 15? And I heard somebody say 15x. Which one of them are right?
15x.
15x. What's the next term? And what's the next term? Okay, coefficients.
15 and 1.
Did anybody forget the 1? Okay. If you forgot the 1, just own it. What are the variables?
X and Y. 15.
And what 15 is not a variable, it's a coefficient. What about constants? Okay, now. Olaf, pass these out for me. Uh-huh.